those flags. If you can, I'm still muted, Joe.
Yeah, no, you stay muted.
Okay, now.
Okay, it's now 6:30, and we are now live. I'll hand over to Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the March meeting of the full Town Council, held again by Zoom. So I just need to remind everybody that we are going out live, and therefore protocols must be adhered to. It's for all Zoom meetings. There will be a slight difference in tonight's meeting in that whilst we have our discussion regarding the co-options, that we will go into the exclusion of press and public, which means we will be just stopping the live streaming for a short time while that happens, and the clerk explains to members the protocols surrounding that. Right, that's agenda item 1. Agenda item 2, apologies for absence, please, Mr. Clark.
Mr. Mayor, received apology for absence from Councillor Samantha Cooper.
Thank you. Is that all?
That's all.
Right. Agenda item 3, declarations of interest. To receive declarations of interest under consideration on this agenda, in accordance with the Localism Act 2011, section 32, and the relevant authorities' disclosable pecuniary interest regulations 2012. Members are reminded that should you declare a pecuniary interest at the meeting, it is your responsibility to inform the monitoring officers. Do we have any declarations of interest from members?
Nobody's indicating, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Declaration of interest from officers.
There are none, Mr. Mayor.
Agenda item 4, public question time and participation.
Mrs. Boyd is in attendance, and she has indicated she would like to ask a question. I'll ask her to unmute.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, councillors. I'm grateful for this opportunity. When I read the response from the Foreign and Commonwealth Office in reply to your questions that you sent from the motion decided upon at your meeting in September, I was really very disappointed. And I did wish to sort of add something, if you like, to the discussion. So I wish to make this statement and sort of ask questions. So it is indisputable that the UN Non-Proliferation Treaty, the NPT, which entered into international law in 1970, has been instrumental in making the development of nuclear weapons by the vast majority of states unacceptable. However, from the beginning of the nuclear age, the world became divided into two camps: nuclear weapon states plus their allies, and non-nuclear weapon states. This situation has become the status quo. Under the NPT Article under NPT Article 6, it is the shared responsibility of the international community to create a world free of nuclear weapons. In completely refusing to take any role in the United Nations Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, the TPNW, a treaty prohibiting the development and possession of nuclear weapons, our government is dismissing voices from the non-nuclear weapon states as irrelevant and of no standing. Then, in the early hours of Monday, the 16th of March, it brought the news of the government's integrated defence review, making the words from the government about being committed to a nuclear-free world a total sham. The headline was a 40% increase in Britain's nuclear warhead stockpile. The questions related to the NPT included in the Keithley Town Council amended motion were certainly valid, The failure of any real response from the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, indicating in what ways it was involved actively in taking the issue of nuclear disarmament forward, once again showed the words of the government to be hollow and empty. There is a non-proliferation treaty review conference coming up starting the end of April. The non-nuclear states have committed themselves to a long-term sustained dialogue, the beginning of which started with the coming into force of the TPNW. The Secretary General of the United Nations General Assembly sees the new treaty as an important element of the nuclear disarmament and proliferation regime. The treaty emphasizes it is complementary to the NPT and will not only ban the production, testing, deployment, possession and use of nuclear weapons, but also prohibit those bound by it from assisting others in acceptance of nuclear weapons. If the nuclear weapon states come forward with real practical disarmament proposals between themselves as nuclear weapon states, there may be some hope for the NPT. Threatening to leave the NPT is really all the leverage the non-nuclear weapon states possess. So the ball is very much in the hands of the nuclear weapon states and their citizens. Therefore, questions to the government must be continued to be asked. To ask, what do they think is the UK's obligation under Article 6 of the Non-Proliferation Treaty? And how will they fulfill them? How does the intended increase in the number of UK Trident warheads affect negotiations at the forthcoming NPT review conference and the broader shift on the part of the majority of nations towards nuclear non-proliferation and disarmament? And how can our government begin to build up trust between the nuclear weapon states and the UN Conference on Disarmament, which is moribund, not having met for 2 decades, and how and where can the issues of disarmament be discussed at the United Nations? The question on the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty and the cutoff of fissile material are all important, but there is no active negotiating body. And you could ask, what preparations have been made which will lead to a meaningful decisions being taken on disarmament at the UN review conference at the NPT, which goes from the 27th of April to the 22nd of May this year.
Sylvia, can I just point out?
Just shortly finish and then
well, the thing is that your 5 minutes were up a good while ago.
Really? I don't think so.
I know so.
Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't. No,
and the thing is, we have a huge agenda.
I realise that, yes. I think I must, can I just say, can I be allowed, if I send copies of this?
Well, what my suggestion to you is this, that please would you write in with those questions to
I
the
will indeed.
This is probably the last full council meeting before the new year. So yes. I'm going to ask that the town clerk puts your questions onto the agenda of the next meeting of the Policy and Governance Committee.
I'm grateful.
For them to look at it on our behalf, and then we can formulate a letter around your questions. I'm sorry to cut you off so short when you're so at the end, but unfortunately we do have a huge amount of work to get through this evening.
I do appreciate that, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Sylvia, for coming and speaking to us.
I will leave now, though.
Yeah, no,
if you don't mind.
Absolutely fine. Thank you very much for your time. Agenda item 5, Town Mayor. As I've alluded just now, this is my last full council meeting prior to the election of the new mayor on the 20th of May, which I will probably get the first 5 minutes to chair until the election has been held. So therefore, it is my last meeting as mayor, last full meeting as mayor. So I would like to thank each and every one of you for your support, for your help during the last 2 years, through what has been probably one of the most difficult times anybody has ever had to deal with. And I don't mean me or the council, I mean the entire country, the entire world. COVID has put a heck of a strain on each and every one of us. For those of you who have lost loved ones, friends, relatives, those of you who have suffered as a result of this COVID, I wish you all, and I give you all my deepest condolences. Thank you, and thank you for your time. Agenda item 5.2 is to receive details of the invitations that I've accepted. Because of COVID, these are few and far between, but I did go for my first injection on the 29th of January, where I did a short video regarding people getting their vaccinations as a matter of urgency, or just getting them. Forget all the hype and all the nonsense that's on social media. Having done that, I went to the Knoll funeral parlour, not to be measured up, I hastened to hand, but just to open their new facilities up there. And I today went to Merlin-Top School, where together with Councillor Kirby, we selected some designs by the school children for a wrap for their new bin that hopefully will keep the grounds clean. And on Monday, I'm going to Branshaw Golf Club to open what's an irrigation system. And no, I don't attend if it's just the opening of a tin of peas, but it's just that people do invite me, and it's what we can get to. So once again, thanks for your attendance, and thanks for your assistance through the year. Right, agenda item 6, minutes for decision. Unless anybody, because it's such a huge agenda this evening, my intention is that unless anybody's got anything particular that they want to raise regarding the minutes that you've all been presented with, and I'm not talking about the agenda items that are on there, like agenda item 11 for the finance and audit or standing orders, anything like that. I'm just talking about the committee minutes. If anybody's got anything they wish to say, that's fine, but I would like somebody to propose them en bloc, and we can in fact vote for them en bloc. Councillor Westerman.
Chair, sorry, just before you bring Councillor Westerman, this is just the minutes of the last full council meeting on 28th of January.
Sorry, I apologise.
So,
Councillor Westerman, I got ahead of myself.
That is what I was going to propose, Mr. Mayor, to accept the minutes of the last full town council meeting.
Thank you very much indeed. Do I have a second there? Councillor Graham? Thank you. All those in favour?
Yeah, that's passed, Chair. I'm happy with that. Thank you.
Agenda item 7. Reports from district councillors and invited guests. I noticed Councillor Russell Brown's here. Does Russell want to say anything?
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. It being we're now in Purder, it would be very difficult for me to make any sort of a comment. However, I would say to everybody the neighbourhood plan regarding where Bradford Council would like to build houses or open up spaces for that type of thing. You are able to comment whether you're for or against it on the council website, and I would suggest that you do that. If you could indulge me a moment, I'll do my day job with my day job hat on. I applied for some money to do some STEM mental health type things with school kids, all those who were struggling at home. So we did an environmental project. We got some money from the Community and Arts and Culture Grants Fund. So successful was it that we had to go back and get some more money off them and approach charities and around the district. Many schools from the town council area, Oldfield, Oakworth and St Joseph's, were involved. Alas, there were a few that we ran out of kit, so we are putting in a bid for some more money from the Climate Action Fund. And could I ask if any of the town councillors have any schools that they're involved with that feel they might like to get involved in in a climate change project. Basically, we're building insect and bird habitats and feeders. If they would like to get in touch with me, I'll contact those schools should we get the funding. Apart from that, if anybody's any questions, I will try and answer them.
Yeah. Are there any questions for anybody? From anybody?
No.
Would appear not. Can I just say, Councillor Brown, thank you very much for your attendance. I know that you've got another important meeting later on this evening. If you are going to talk to Andrea, maybe not, I don't know. But can I just suggest, from what you've just said now, that you do in fact contact the town clerk so that people can talk, so that councillors can be given some information regarding schools in their wards, and they can put your suggestion to those schools. Thank you for your.
Yep,
Sorry.
yeah, that's fine, Lord Mayor. I'll do that when we, if we're successful in the application. I think it closes towards the end of April. We'll do that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity, and good luck in your new endeavours, whatever they might be.
Backbench. Thank you. Can I now ask Mr. Stephen Kelly, the principal of Keithley College, who's going to do a little presentation for us, I understand. Stephen, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm using my Sunday name there. But I think I'm presenting from the slides. Is that right?
Yep, just give me 1 second. I will start a screen share, if you can just bear with me.
So,
Yeah, no, it will be in a second.
Great. So, Ms. Clark, are you going to go through the slides for me?
I will, yeah, if you tell me when.
Great, thank you very much.
Next slide, please. I will move it on.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor and councillors, for the opportunity to come and speak to everybody. It's a long time coming, this meeting. We did plan to do it in March of last year, but something happened across the world and we prevented it. So I'm very pleased to be here. I'm a year in post as principal of Keithley College. I'm very proud to be here, and thank you very much. Next slide, please. So with regard to Keithley College, I wanted just to give you a very quick update of where we're at. And one of the things I wanted to note straight away, as you can see on the slides that are on the screen, we finally fixed the rendering. It was one of my priorities to do it when I came, because Keithley College didn't deserve, and the town of Keithley didn't deserve, a wall like that. So we fixed it very quickly. And what I want to say, you often can't judge a book by its cover. So inside the college at the moment, we have got our students back. We are fully COVID safe. We've done 3,000 tests so far, and we've also issued 1,200 test kits, which is a phenomenal activity, but we definitely are open. Some items there you may not know about the college because we've probably been a bit quiet about it, but the top picture you can see is we've actually got a flat inside the college, which is a flat for students with disabilities to learn about how to cope in independent living, which is new and been introduced this year, as well as the University Centre at Keithley College, which means citizens of Keithley and the surrounding area can do degrees at the college and don't have to go to universities or don't have to travel, and can you know, we have lots of working mums, for example, or lots of mums who study with us in degrees, and we've not perhaps told people about that. So I just wanted to alert councillors to that. Next slide, please. Is the next slide coming?
I am trying, Steve. It's seems to have wanted to. Oh,
okay.
Sorry.
So yeah. So I just want.
There we go.
Thank you very much. One of the things I just wanted to clarify with councillors and the area is with regard to the status of Keithley College. Keithley College is an independent college as part of the Luminate Education Group. And previously, councillors may be aware that we were part of the Leeds City College Group. Now, Leeds City College Group does no longer exists. As you can see on there, there are a number of organisations that are part of the Luminate Education Group, of which Keithley College is one of those. And I just wanted to make sure that people actually understood that. Simply because I want to say we are Keithley's college, and we are very proud to be Keithley's college and an independent college within a wider group. The reason why we're part of a wider group is to share services and to make sure that we're as efficient as possible, but also to bring the best possible education to the people that we serve. Next slide, please. The slight obviously delay. The next slide talks about our values at Keithley College, which I know we'll be pressed for time here now, so I don't really want to go into much of them. But I think what's to note is that at Keithley, we want to be the college that has aspirations and is dynamic and excellent and empowering for the people that we serve. And we also want to make sure that we are at the centre of Keithley. So you might have seen our sort of tagline, which we launched recently, which is go near, go far. And we very much mean that. We mean, come to Keithley College, learn, enjoy, have fun, pass, progress, and then go far in your future career. So these are our current values, which we're reviewing. And I would love to have input from councillors with regard to our values and what they should be to help shape the future. Next slide, please. With regard to current numbers then, so what does the actual college look like? We serve 882 16 to 18-year-olds in a multitude of different courses, and we expect our growth over the next year to grow by 11%. As you're probably aware, the region is the largest, in the country, has the largest population of growth of young people. So we expect our young people to increase by 11% into next year. We also serve 1,400 adult learners, 320 apprentices, and this year supported internships, which are programs for young people with disabilities to gain entry into the workforce. We also have a number of level 4-5 courses, which are degree level courses, which again, I don't think we have been very good at telling people about. So we have degrees in health and wellbeing, degrees in sports and teaching and learning. We're introducing a new policing degree and a HND in engineering. So I just wanted to give you a flavour of the numbers that come to Keithley College. Next slide, please. With regard to achievements, then, I'm very pleased to say our achievement rate is high, an overall of 85%. With very good progression. Now, 85% is all our students. So we have a large number of students who are disaffected or adult learners who are just learning perhaps English, or we have learners with low level skills. So 85% for an overall achievement rate for a college of our side is good. High achievement for adults, and the college is graded 2 by Ofsted. At the moment, we have a key theme of developing our culture and continuous improvement, and the recognition that all our learners have different starting points and we need to demonstrate their progress. I'm pleased to say, despite COVID, our work has continued and new courses have been developed, and we have had high participation both on our online learning as well as we're starting to come back slowly to our face-to-face learning, which is very positive, and learners are returning. Lastly, to say we've had good outcomes for English and maths, which is a vast improvement on the past. So if anybody has read our Ofsted reports in the past, we've actually vastly improved on our maths and English skills, as well as our digital literacy skills. Next slide, please. So what we want to do is now start to develop our college's strategic plan. And what you've got on the screen is our current strategic plan. It's obviously it's bullet points, it's not the whole plan. I will send out for the minutes the current strategic plan. But what I would like to consider with working with Keithley is to improve our strategic plan and go to the next stage. So we want to establish our brand and our reputation. We want to obviously improve our outcomes for English and maths, grow our curriculum so it meets the regional needs, and make sure that we've got finances to invest in our building. Our building is now 11 years old, and we need to invest in our building for new curricula. We really want Keithley College to be at the heart of the community and grow our numbers. We've introduced A-level provision, we've widened our HE, which is our higher education provision, and we want to deliver leadership and occupational skills to address those skills gaps. We are continue developing new partnerships with employees, expanding our links and delivering high quality learning and assessment. Keithley College is one of the largest employers in the area, so we want to build a resilient workforce. And by that, we would like to look at extending apprentice teachers coming to us, as well as youth workers, making sure our workforce are from the area and stay in the area and are fully participant members of the community. Next slide, please. So key developments, we have now obviously taken on board the economic and social regeneration plans, and we're building that into our curriculum. We've now started at the college in the building a new skills hub that is aimed at adults, so adults can come in and get support. They can come in, go on courses, they can come and meet their social workers, they can come and meet help workers to help them in their endeavours, and also a youth hub. And the youth hub is really important because we have a large number of young people that are NEET, not in education, employment or training, who need to be brought back into the workforce. And a lot of them need a lot more support than just education. So we're bringing all the services into the college to help those young people. So it will be a one-stop shop. We have also introduced work with our vulnerable young people, those people that are at risk of becoming NEET, to ensure that they don't fall off, we're in their education career. So we're working with schools in the area. So there's partnership working where we have some school children coming in for days so they can get used to the college. We not only have been working at lower levels, we also are developing T levels, and I'm very proud to say we've attracted the new T levels within the college, which will mean about £1 million worth of investment to bring T levels to Keithley. Traineeships is a key development, which is working with young people to allow them to get first steps into the workforce and then move into apprenticeships, as well as the sports internships, which I mentioned before. You may know that the skills white paper has just been recently produced by the government and published, and that is going to be key with developing our future. And we also know that we've got a devolved budget coming our way. So the adult budget will go to Bradford region, and what will happen, it will be distributed. It is vital that we as part of Keithley make sure that we get enough money, enough funding to make sure that adult budget comes to the town of Keithley, as well as other towns in the region and the city. But we have to make sure that we're at the forefront of what we're doing. As your colleagues will probably know, we've applied to the Towns Fund for more skills, but our key aim is to be Keithley's College, to be at the heart of our community. Next slide, please. Oh, we've just fizzed. Thank you. So to finish then, some future considerations. Please, this is an open invite to all our council members, as well as members of the public who are watching, to come and visit Keithley and come and see what's inside the doors when those restrictions are lifted. I'd like councillors to consider skills as part of the town's plan and help me inform the college's strategic plan, as well as consider the council working with apprenticeships, traineeships and support internship, investing in young people within positions within the council and its work. We know as a college, we need to get better our communication, and I'm glad to say me and the town clerk have a regular meeting once a month now to make sure that happens. And I want us to consider joint partnerships and projects within the town to ensure that we meet the needs of all ages across the town. Next slide, please. So to finish, you probably noticed our new billboards that have gone around the town recently. So this is our new tagline. This is what we're advertising, and you will see these wonderful posters. And I think they're really great, and they really reflect our learners. They're our learners, they're our workshops, and Keithley College wants to be at the heart of its community. So once again, next slide, so people have got my details. Many thanks for your time. There's my details on screen. Mr. Clark, I'm sure will distribute them as well. But if I have time, Mr. Mayor, I'll take any questions.
I'm still muted. Before you go, Steve, the slides, we are being asked if we can distribute them to other councillors so they can have a look at them in their at their leisure. Is that okay with you?
Absolutely, and Mr. Mayor, I'll write some notes on the slides as well so people can hear what, the notes. What
for my own benefit, meaning what's a T level?
T level is the new courses with regard that are vocationally based and require the young people to gain vocational skills as well as having a considerable amount of time on work placement to use and demonstrate those skills.
You've got Councillor Knight to ask a question.
At an A-level standard, so at quite a high standard, level 3.
Thank you. There are people. Councillor Knight, you're asking to ask a question, please.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Hello, Mr. Kelly.
Hi.
Good to see you. Yeah, very encouraging presentation. Thank you very much for bringing that to us tonight. I very much hope we as a council can play our part in you achieving many of those goals that you're aspiring to. there's a number of questions I want to ask, but one specific question I'd ask you is, you mentioned NEET in your presentation. Do you know what the percentage of NEET students you have currently and how that's comparable to other institutions in the district?
So with regard to the definition of NEET, it actually means they're not part of our provision because they're not in education or training.
Right.
Within the region, the number is between 6 and 8%.
Right. Okay.
Which is high. Also, the other statistic, which is very worrying, is the number of young people who are now claimants, benefit claimants, and they are actually not considered NEET.
Right. Okay.
So that is a rising figure, and within the region, that number is extremely high. And I can certainly get those details for you. It was only published yesterday, but my point is that what we need to do is all work together to get those young people back into some type of provision.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be the college. It can be an internship. It can be a supported intern. It can be working with CLLD projects.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Sorry, my question should have been, how are you going to bring them back into?
So as I mentioned in the presentation, we've developed the hub for young people to get used to coming back into an institution, get used to, I don't really like describing the college as an institution, but it is, isn't it? You know, get those young people and get them engaged, making them feel part of the community, also offering courses that are appropriate for them. We know they struggle with maths and English. We know they struggle with academic work. So we've got wonderful workshops. We've got hair salons. We've got science areas, computing. So let's get them in and get them engaged. And also working with local employers. There's lots of wonderful, amazing employers in the town and in the region who want to help young people. And we can be the conduit to that.
Thank you very much. I like your passion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Knight. Councillor Kerr.
Hello there. Good evening, Mr. Kelly, and congratulations on your post, and you're doing a good job.
Thank you.
My question is, we seem to be losing a lot of apprenticeships regarding motor mechanics to Skipton and Wakefield colleges. Does Keithley College run an apprenticeship for motor mechanics where they go 1 day a week at Keithley and then 4 days at the choice of area, the choice of garage?
Yeah, absolutely, Councillor. We do run motor mechanics and all different types of courses around motor mechanics, so engineering, as well as welding, as well as other specialist qualifications. What we've found at Keithley, we mainly attract small SMEs with regard to our apprentices rather than the larger employers, sorry. So we do have motor vehicle apprentices who study with us at the college, but they tend to be with the smaller garages and the small SMEs rather than the larger employees.
Sorry. Carry on, sorry.
Yeah, so that's where our work is. What we do need to do is now, when COVID, and now we're coming out of this awful situation, as part of the economic regeneration plan, is reach out to those bigger employees and talk about the Keithley band. Our apprentices are some of the highest achievers in the country, but we need to get out and tell people that.
So these levels, as you're well aware, are level 1 for just the basic, and level 2, then the level 1 is not an apprenticeship, the level 2 is an apprenticeship with a maths. So you do from level 1 upwards.
Right, and we've actually introduced another course at level 1, which is mechanics, welding, and metal work, to get the learners introduced to those skills. Yeah, so we're very successful with level 1 and level 2, but some of our learners do struggle to go to level 3 because level 3 is quite a technical skill and it's not in a garage all the time.
So I can put these two young people that are leaving school in touch with your college then?
Absolutely, please. And my number was on the slide, but please do get in touch with me personally.
Okay, thank you. That'd be good news.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Thank you very much, Steve.
But Councillor Akhtar also has his hand up.
Oh, sorry, Councillor Akhtar.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you to Mr. Kelly for coming here this evening and sharing such a diverse and extensive programme and plan of the college. And I welcome that. It's just a question for you, whether you can help or not. As you know, old Keithley College was synonymous with having a time clock on there. Is there any chance that you could do something with your college at the new site?
I don't know anything about a time clock, but I'd be welcome somebody to tell me all about it.
Okay.
We fixed the wall. We fixed the wall, so maybe that's the next project, a time clock.
Right. Okay.
Please, councillors, if anybody does want to reach out to me, please do, and I will get back to people. Can
I just say, Steve, it's been fascinating listening to you. You are very, very enthusiastic, and it's great to see somebody of such enthusiasm.
I'm proud of the work we do, and I'm proud to work in this town. Thank you very much.
And I'd love to keep you talking, but unfortunately we have a huge agenda this evening, so nobody else has got their hand up. So can I thank you once again for coming? It was brilliant, and we will share all those details with all the councillors, and I'm sure you will be getting a few inquiries in the not too distant future. Thank you for coming. Right, councillors, it's now we now need to go to our exclusion of public and press. And I'm going to ask the clerk just to explain what the procedure is, particularly for those who are listening and have joined us from the members of the public, that it is going to be a short discussion and they will not be excluded hopefully for too long. Mr. Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So shortly we will stop the live stream. Anybody that isn't an officer or a councillor will be placed into the waiting room. So you don't need to do anything with your picture. You'll automatically be put back in the waiting room. The members are purely going into a private session to debate the candidate and the interview and their personal details. And that's the only reason why it's a closed session. Once that debate has been finished, we will restart the live stream. People will be allowed back in, and the actual proposing, seconding and voting of members will be done in public. Our co-option policy, which Council adopted last March, sets out the reasons why we do private session, and it's just to make sure that there is, obviously, we are discussing people personally, and that's not something which perhaps should be done in the public eye, but the vote and the nominations will be done in public. So, Mr. If you're happy, I will now stop the live stream. Well, in fact, can you propose and resolve?
Yeah, can I propose that we have the exclusion of public and press? Can I have a seconder, please?
Councillor Adams.
Councillor Adams. All those in favour?
I'm happy that's the majority.
Thank you. That is the majority. Can we have